Hey everybody, welcome back to BobkeTV. One of the most frequent questions I get is, where did the name Bobke come from? It's kind of a long story. It does have to do with the Graham Watson photograph behind me, which is from Paris-Roubaix in 1988. And I'm on the 7-Eleven team, one of the most iconic jerseys of all time. In professional cycling. When we started racing in Northern Europe in the mid-80s, 86 to be exact, it was incredibly challenging. The races, Tour of Flanders, Paris-Roubaix, Amstel Gold Race, they are unlike anything any of us had ever done before. The dominant riders at the time were some of the greatest classic specialists of all time. So maybe some of the most competitive cobbled classics, especially in the history of the sport. I, for whatever reason, probably a physiological response to the challenges of the events, was pretty good at the cobbled classics and the hillier classics and the bad weather and the narrow roads and the incredibly vicious battle for position that goes on throughout the classics. And the local Belgian riders took note that there at least was one broad-shouldered American dude that was up there trying to battle. And it was the Flemish riders that added a KE to the name they saw, Bob Roll, on the start list from the 7-Eleven team. So in Flemish, they had a KE where we would add a Y. So Bobby became, in their pronunciation, Bobke. So I didn't know who they were referring to when they started calling me Bobke, because I had never heard that word before. And a few years later, I started writing stories about our adventures, because before the internet, there was no way to keep up to speed, to keep current with what we were doing. So we were basically in Europe, the 6 or 7 of us, in a vacuum, like no information getting back to the States for many weeks and months. Tour de France, that always had at least daily coverage in the newsprint and TV coverage since I started doing it, at least on the weekends, and eventually day to day. And now what we have is just basically coverage of everything and anything that you're curious about. You can find out about it somehow through the internet. Before that, I started writing stories, and I mentioned that my nickname was Bobke, but it was just in the print media. So when American cycling fans would read the stories, it looked like Bobke. And so when I came back to the States, people had adopted my nickname with an inaccurate pronunciation. And so for the first few months or years, I tried to correct everybody that said, "Hey, Bobke." And I would say, no, it's actually Bobke. But then I would have to go into a 20-minute explanation of what my nickname is. And I have decided a long time ago just to go with Bobke. So that is the whole story of why I'm now called Bobke Roll. Actually, in a funny way, it suits me even better than Bobke. So Bobke it is, and Bobke it's going to be for the foreseeable future. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Please keep the comments coming. Questions, I'll try to answer them as frequently as I can. Thumbs up are greatly appreciated. If you'd like to subscribe, click on my face, go straight to subscriptions, merchandise, click on the t-shirt. Please comment, and please subscribe. I need way more subscriptions to keep doing this. Thanks a lot, everybody. Until next time.